All right. Happy World Gin Day. I will tell you, it is hot. It is quite warm, like I think 88, 89 degrees right now. One of those days that makes you glad you put the antiperspirant where the antiperspirant wouldn't generally go. But got a nice little fire started back here, and hopefully the smoke will keep going up and not right over here. But we are celebrating World Gin Day, and I decided to really go all out, and we're going to discuss gin a little bit. Now, I don't know as much about gin, even though I've been drinking gin longer than I've been drinking bourbon and whiskey. I never went into what gin is, what it's about, how it's made. I don't know that much about gin, so I had to do a really quick research into it before we could actually get started. I do have. Hey, Jeff is watching. Hey, how are you? Jeff called me earlier today. He goes, "Hey, we're going to Louisville. Anything you want me to pick up?" I'm like, so I've got a bunch of gins, and we're going to try a little bit of all of them. I told you I was going to go a little crazy. Got some that are kind of local, some that were asked for, requested for me to try. So we're going to do that. Again, my taster on gin is a little bit askew. I can try to tell you. It's a lot different than bourbon, but we're going to get into it and see what we can do. So, hey, Charles, how are you? Aaron, welcome. Hi, how are you doing? All right, so I was not able to print out all of my stuff. So I'm just going to... That neighbor, I swear to God, he mows that lawn every day. And he's going to do it now. Move the microphone a little bit so it's... What a horse's ass. He'll mow like for 30 seconds and then stop. And then mow. It takes him hours to mow a little dinky ass lawn because he can't just do it all at once. Really. I'm going to drink. All right, so gin. Gin is a neutral spirit distilled from something like wheat, barley, potatoes, or grapes. Flavors of gin come from botanicals, herbs, seeds, flowers, plants, spices added during production. And crucially, all gins must contain juniper. So I had a friend of mine ask me today, why does all gin taste like pine? I said, well, I don't know. Well, now I know. It's juniper. Juniper is the spice that makes a lot of gins taste kind of piney. But that's one of the things that gin is. See, he stopped mowing again already. Okay, so anyway, just annoying. There it is. See, now he just started back up. I'm going to try to ignore him because he'll piss me off. The predominant flavor must be juniper, otherwise the drink cannot be defined as gin by law. Okay, so if it doesn't have that piney taste, it isn't gin. You can't call it gin. All right. Must be at least 37.5% of pure alcohol in the total volume of liquid. There's several different types of gin. London Dry, Plymouth Gin, and Old Tom Gin. There are flavored gins, there's slow gin, all are different from traditional gin. My sister used to like slow gin fizzes. I had some slow gin in the cupboard. I don't know if I even still have it anymore. Let's see. Okay, good. All right. Let's see. Juniper berries and other herbs, plants, and spices known as aromatics or botanicals are added to the fermented grain mixture along with water until the alcohol level and balance of the flavors meets the required levels. There's a compound gin, which is sometimes called bathtub gin, and that's in reference to the illegal practice of making it in the bathtub during Prohibition. But there are all sorts of kits. You can make your own gin, and you can make it from vodka, as a matter of fact. But making your own gin, having your own still in your house, that's a thing. You know, they did that on MASH, where they had a still in the swamp on a TV show, and I think the movie MASH. You can do that at home, and I've considered it. And I might, because I think it'd be fun. And I'd learn a lot more about gin. So So London Dry Gin is considered by many distillers to be the most sophisticated type of gin. Surprisingly, this type of spirit doesn't need to be produced in London. The term actually refers to a specific type of production process which has to meet the legal definition in order for the gin to be called London Dry. Kind of like bourbon, you know. If you want to call it straight bourbon, it's got to be this. If you want to call it bourbon, it's got to be this. If you want to call it Tennessee whiskey, it's got to do this. Just spirits industry likes to do this stuff. Let's see. The difference between London Dry Gin and other gin is that all of its botanicals must be added during the distillation process, and they must all be natural. Nothing but water and a very small amount of sweetener can be added post-distillation. By contrast, other gins can have synthetic or artificial flavors or sweeteners added after distillation. I'm going through this really, really quick. I know I am, but I want to get to drinking. Plymouth Gin, slightly sweeter than London Dry. The juniper flavor in Plymouth Gin is also more subtle. So for those of you who don't like the piney taste, you might like that better. Plymouth Gin. Greater emphasis placed on root botanicals like licorice and orris. I've never heard of orris, but it doesn't sound very appetizing. This style must be made in Plymouth, and while there used to be many distilleries working now only one remains. Well, that may be why I've never heard of Plymouth Gin. Old Tom Gin is sweeter than Plymouth or London Dry. Old Tom is the missing link between dry and modern styles of gin and Genever, the Dutch distillate that came before them. Okay. And then there's something called Navy Strength, which is supposed to be like really strong gin. There's a lot of speculation behind Navy Strength gin, but some people don't even think it's a thing, so I'm not going to spend much time on it. All right, so why don't we get started? All right, so we're going to start with one that was requested. This is Aviation Gin. So Aviation Gin is a product of Portland, Oregon. It's amazing the bottle's not on fire. Because of their volcanic past, that's all I'm saying. Has 7 flavoring ingredients: juniper, of course, lavender, sweet and bitter orange peel, cardamom, coriander, Indian sarsaparilla, and anise seed or anise seed. Anise, however you want to describe it or pronounce it. Now, I did take some time today. I like my gin on ice, but I didn't want to do anything that wasn't going to be pretty. I didn't want to use ice cubes. So instead, I froze my glasses. I've got this big ice cube. This will allow me to pour a little bit, but not a lot. Let me get the frost off. Isn't that neat? How I kind of shaped that? So we're going to be using this. And like I said, I like my gin to be cold. Watch it, screw cap. So I'm going to pour it over this ice. And I'm not having a lot. I have a lot of gins here we're going to try tonight. And so I'm not going to like go crazy and drink more than a little bit of each gin. So, because I got a friend coming over after this, and I want to be able to talk. All right, so this is the Aviation Gin. I told you it's a Portland, Oregon gin. It's partially owned by Mr. Deadpool himself, Ryan Reynolds. Here's to you, Mr. Poole. The proof on this is 84. So it's got a nutty back end to it. On the front, of course, the juniper is loud and proud and says, "Hi, I'm gin." Truth of it is, it's gin. So, I mean, they're all going to have something in common, with a little bit of this, a little bit of that changed. Aviation, it's a tasty gin. It doesn't have much of a bloom because it's got a lower proof, which means it's not going to do anything on the tongue really. There's no bite on the back end. It's kind of thin. I mean, it's got decent flavor. Definitely has decent flavor. I don't know that that it's going to stand out. Like there's all sorts of different gins. There's a bunch that we're not going to try tonight because there's just too many. There's one woman I started following out of England has 236 different labels of gin in her house. She loves gin. She follows gin everywhere, and 236 I think is what I saw. Different gins. Some of them have been hard for her to find. Some people travel the world and bring her back gin from wherever they go. I can respect that collection desire, but I don't know that this is one that will stand out. One of the things that I'll tell you about gins is that oftentimes they have to be mixed. Gins are mixer drinks a lot. So, starting with a motorcycle. So like Beefeater, Gilbey's, gosh, there's tons. Even better gins, but those are a couple of them, for instance, that I can't drink just on ice like this. I've got to mix it with something like tonic water or club soda. Gin and tonic is very popular. I like gin and tonic. Now there's a new variation called the gin and sonic. It's kind of cool. Whereas instead of tonic, you use half the tonic that you would have used and then replace that other half with club soda. So that gives you a gin and sonic. Kind of fun. Okay. The back end of that is a little on the nutty side. I know I gave you the ingredients. Let me just hit them again and see if there's something about that. Could be that aniseed. I'm not catching the orange peel all that much. Could be the cardamom or the coriander I'm getting. It's just got this. Hey Jordan, how are you, sir? Killer setting, I know, right? Got the fire behind me and got the lights on, my lights and that orange or that. See that thing right there? That's a hummingbird feeder. So yeah, I've been wanting to do it out on the deck for a while, and for a while I was having issues with the stream, so I had to move my router. I had to do a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, so that is the Aviation Gin. This is one that was requested for me to try, so that's the one I tried. Now, we'll just kind of set this down here. All right. Now, the next one I want to try just happens to be my favorite gin. And I have to apologize for the size of the bottle. It's the only one I had. I thought I bought another one just for this, but I didn't. So, it's a big bottle. This is Bombay Sapphire. Back when I first started doing gin and tonics, I started with Gilbey's, and then moved up to Beefeater. And we took a bunch of Beefeater on a cruise. And we got on the cruise, and a bartender at the bar introduced me to Bombay Sapphire. And all of a sudden, I didn't have to mix gin anymore with anything. Now, some people will taste this and go, whoo! And they may do that with any of these gins because, you're not mixing them with anything. I don't like to mix them with anything if I can get away with it. Now, I do still like a gin and tonic, and any kind of well gin is fine with a gin and tonic. Let's change glasses. Yeah, I got a bunch of these glasses. I'm prepared. I knew I wanted to do something special here. It's World Gin Day. You gotta celebrate. Okay, so Bombay Sapphire. This one is very juniper-y. This one has that classic pine taste, a lot like Aviation did. This one, though, has a lot more body. Let me just get into it here. Yeah, see, that's delicious. That is really, really good. This one has, I'm going to read it right off the bottle, grains of paradise from West Africa, I can't read that. Cubeb berries from Java, cassia bark from Indochina, almonds from Spain, licorice from China, hand-selected botanicals. This is 94 proof. So the aviation gin is 84. This is 94. So yes, this is going to be a little bit stronger. Juniper berries from Italy, lemon peel from Spain, coriander from Morocco, angelica root from Saxony, and again orris, which is an iris root. That makes it sound a little more appetizing, from Italy. So Bombay Sapphire is a brand of gin that was first launched in 1986. Bacardi owns it now. Its name originates from the popularity of gin in India during the British Raj, and sapphire refers to the violet blue star of Bombay, which was mined from Sri Lanka and is now on display at the Smithsonian Institution. A picture, I'll be darned, I never even knew that. A picture of Queen Victoria is on the label, and I can't zoom in, and if I bring it closer, it'll go out of focus because, you know, it's just the way it is. I'm going to pour a little bit more of this one because I didn't get much. There we go. So, yeah, see, that's just got a great mouthfeel. It's got a lot of body. There's a lot going on here. All those different botanicals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 different botanicals in it. This is my favorite gin. Smooth as silk if you're used to drinking gin without anything in it, like a tonic or a Sonic or a club soda. All right, I'm going to keep this glass for the next one because it's a close relative. This is Bombay Sapphire East. Now, the difference between Bombay Sapphire and Bombay Sapphire East, this is a different variety of this, and this actually has 2 more botanicals that go into it. I don't know if I wrote them down what they are. Yes, lemongrass and black peppercorns. And evidently, this particular variety of Bombay Sapphire was created to counteract the sweetness of tonic water. So this should be even sweeter than this one. And that isn't a sweet rye, or a sweet gin. The juniper in that is stronger. Well, it's really similar, I guess, to aviation gin. It's just the higher proof really wakes it up a little bit. Lester, hey, how are you, sir? We're doing something different tonight. Gin. It's World Gin Day, so we're practicing our gin drinking. All right. And I'm only having little bits. Okay, so this is the one I'm most excited about. I've had a bottle of this for a while, and I've never tried it. So I didn't try it because I wasn't sure how easy it would be to find it. Well, I found another bottle, so I'm trying it. And I'm excited about this one, actually. I'm going to let this cool down for just a second. Get it going over that cool ice cube I made, which is already starting to melt in the summer heat. It's moving around in the glass now. All right. Here we go. That is definitely different. It is sweeter, and it doesn't bite as hard. They're the exact same proof, I think. Yeah, no, they're not. This one's 84. This one's 94. It's definitely sweeter. I miss the proof. The mouth feels pretty good though for it. That's actually really tasty, and I was right to be excited about it. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's good. I could see where that would be a problem because that's good. This is my favorite. This is fantastic. Yeah, that's really good. Okay, I could find myself getting a little bit hooked on that one. All right, on to the next. Put my lid back on my cooler. Say goodbye to Bombay Sapphire. All All right, the next one we're going to go for, okay, it's Castle and Key. Nope. Yep. Okay. Now, I've tried this one before, and the last time I tried it, I will be honest with you, I didn't care for it. But we're going to try it again today and see what we think. This one has a really interesting history. The distillery that started off as OFC and then became Old Taylor and is now known as Buffalo Trace started in an area of Kentucky that's near Frankfort. It's actually called Millville, Kentucky. He built a new kind of distillery there. Colonel Taylor built a new distillery there, inspired by European architecture that featured a castle, a classical spring house, and a sunken garden. What he built became the birthplace of bourbon tourism. So Colonel Taylor was a smart man. Prohibition caused the distillery to close in 1920, and over the next century, the property changed owners and occupants several times, eventually falling into ruin. In 2014, after some 40 years of decay, Will Arvin and Wes Murray bought the property, and Castle and Key was born. They do several different things. Gin is not their only thing. By the way, I have to note this. Let me read it because I don't want to mess it up. Marianne Barnes Eves is currently the master distiller at Castle and Key. In 2016, she became the first female bourbon master distiller in the state since before Prohibition. So I think that's neat. I like that. Women have a say at the table when it comes to bourbons. I've talked to so many women about bourbon. There are women that follow my beautiful bourbon blog and my page and my Instagram, and some of them know a crap ton more about this stuff than I do. So, but we're gonna give Castle and Key a little try. Now, this is the London Dry Gin. Again, just a little bit, just enough to be able to taste it. Now that has a different nose. That is a lot different nose. See if it says anything about it here because I couldn't find a lot online. Yes. Juniper, coriander, angelica root, licorice root. I've had wild licorice, by the way. It was just picked and handed to me and said, taste this. I don't like licorice, the candy, but licorice root is delicious. White sage, ginger root, pink peppercorn, clove, and cassia bark. The mash bill is also, the mash bill of the liquor of the alcohol is 17% yellow corn, 63% rye, and 20% malted barley. This is 103 proof. Again, last time I didn't like it so well, and I think that maybe because of the mash bill having so much rye in it. But let's give it a try here. It definitely has a much, much different flavor than the other ones. That's the other neighbor. I want to say the coriander is really coming out. Also, the sage is coming out in this one. It's much more floral, and that may be what I didn't like about it last time because I was so used to this Bombay Sapphire style of gin. The ginger root may have something to do with it as well. I can tell you I'm picking up hints of ginger in this. I don't dislike it as much as I thought I was going to dislike it. I do like this. I didn't care for it last time, and maybe it's just because I wasn't in the mood for it. I don't know. But I do like this. This is actually pretty tasty. So, all right, let's move on, shall we? Are you having fun? I'm having fun. Duh. I'm drinking. All right. So far we've done the Aviation Gin. We just finished Castle and Key, and we did Bombay Sapphire Regular and Bombay Sapphire East, which has 2 additional botanicals in it and a lower proof. Okay, moving on. Okay, let's do this one. This is a product of Scotland, and I have 2 different ones. This is Hendrick's Gin. This was the first gin that I really got introduced to after I fell in love with Bombay Sapphire. You know, I like these gins that I don't have to mix with anything. Put it on ice and I'm a happy camper. So I found this one first and I really fell in love with it. It's got a lot of different flavors to it. And then I found this one. This is the Midsummer Solstice. And it turns out, and I didn't know this, but there are, the girl I was telling you about that collects gin on Instagram, there are 5 different Hendricks. You can go on their website and read about it. But some of them are really hard to find. At least that's what she said. Now, she's in England, so who knows. But yeah, so I've got 2 of them, and we're going to try them. I've never tried this one. I've tried this one. And so now we got to change glasses again. I basically did the same thing with all the glasses. I just added in some, did it at a tilt because I think it's elegant looking. Calling me during the Bourbcast. All right. You can tell, I mean, this has got dust on the bottle. I haven't been drinking much gin lately. Take that off. All right. I do like Hendrick's gin. I'm going to give that a second to cool down a little bit. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about Hendrick's. It comes from Scotland. Is distilled with juniper, obviously, caraway, coriander, elderflower. And you know I like the elderflower. Chamomile. Oh, it's gonna make me tired. Orange fruit, the orange fruit, and lemon peel. Yarrow, which I believe is a root. Angelica, cubeb pepper, and orris root. Okay, it's probably cold enough now. Yeah, see, that's really tasty. That's very floral compared to other gins. That's one of the things I like about this one. I don't know. It could be the citrus peel. Unexpected infusion of cucumber and rose petals. Huh. It says here on the back of the bottle, it is not for everyone. Please enjoy the unusual responsibly. There you go. They were going for something different, and they gave it, we got something different. This is a fantastic gin. I really like it. It's definitely more floral. And definitely more citrusy. So like one of the drinks that we like around the house, gin cast, yeah. One of the things that we always like to do around the house is for a mixed drink is called a gin lemon 7. And it is what it is. Some people, what is that? It's gin with a squeeze of lemon or lemon juice and fill the rest up with 7-Up. Gin lemon 7. This might be particularly good in that because it has such a citrusy overtone. But it's not so citrusy that it goes, oh, I taste citrus. Yeah. It doesn't taste like oranges. It doesn't taste like lemons, but you can tell that those pieces and parts are there. Okay, so there's that. We're done with that one. Now we move into the next one. This is the Midsummer Solstice. I have not tried this one, so this will be all new. How many do I have left? I can switch glasses. Just in case it's that much different, I want to switch glasses. Okay, there we go. So, I got 9 of these. They were all in the freezer, stood over on their side, and I fortunately didn't have a young person come to me today going, "Dad, what are you doing?" Because they know. They know what I'm doing. I already had the camera sitting out and the microphones and everything. They know what I'm doing. All right. So, here we go. Wow. That's different. I really like that. That is off screen. That is really tasty. That's the Hendrick's Midsummer Solstice, and what they say in the notes about it is that it has a floral botanical added. And if I had to guess what that floral botanical is that they added, I would bet you $10 to a donut it's rose petals. Because that's what leapt out at me, is rose. Now I got 2 neighbors mowing. This could become a problem. All right. That's fantastic. That may be my new favorite gin. That's fantastic. Okay, so some of you are out and about. Pick this up. Get this. If you don't like the juniper, if you don't like the piney taste to gins, I'm telling you, that is delicious. Wow. That was a really nice surprise. I really like that a lot. Okay. All right. Boy, this is fun. Okay. I can't do this with bourbon. I can't tell differences in flavors as well with bourbon because I guess so many are just so alike. Since I've got this ice out, I'm going to reach across the table and grab one that we've tasted before on this Bourbcast or Gincast, and that's the Freedom Gin. This is, I didn't do a lot of background looking up on this one, but this is a veteran-owned company in Ohio. We're going to start getting into the local stuff now, I think. Yeah. So, veteran-owned. This is the Freedom Whiskey Company. We profiled these guys a while back. And we did taste the gin on the show. But I'm going to do it again because it's been a while since I tried it. I mean, I haven't tried it. I haven't had a sip out of it since the last time, since we did it on the show. So let's just give it the once over, eh? I like the dog tag that hangs off the front of it. It's very cool. Their story is on the bottle, looks like. 100% veteran owned. To those who have served in far-off foreign lands, raise your glass to the heavens with calloused, hardened hands. For those who fought for freedom, never to return, we sip this gin for you, embracing the slow, warm burn. For when the morning sun breaks and we rise from our beds, let us not forget the tree of liberty is watered with sweat, blood, and lead. Until we meet again in the halls of Valhalla. Have a shot of freedom. Whiskey Company. They also make gin, and it's a good gin. Mosquito. So I don't know any of the story of this one as far as the mash bill and the botanicals that go into it. They're not listed anywhere on it. It does say distilled from grapes. This is a barrel-rested gin. This could be that bathtub gin, or it could be, it's not London Dry. They weren't allowed to call it London Dry. Anyway, yes, this is fantastic. Again, really light on the juniper on this one. I can't tell you that this has that super piney taste. I'm getting some complexity to it. I don't know if it was aged in bourbon barrels or not. I want to say maybe it was for a little while anyway. Got that little sucker. Okay, one more because I want to make sure I get this right. There's a flavor to it. Of course there's a flavor to it, KC. It tastes like something. I'm going to say orange peel. That's a flavor I'm getting more than. I mean, anybody who doesn't like gin may still get that juniper overtone to it, but when I contrast all these different gins, I'm getting orange peel out of this. Excuse me, wrong tube. Yeah, there's definitely a citrus side to this. Excuse me, and it's very good. This is an Ohio gin, and it's quite good. It's really tasty. So Freedom Whiskey, have a shot of Freedom Whiskey Company. Again, this is an Ohio-made gin. It's not all sourced in Ohio. I think there's like a piece of this that goes out west as well. But the company is owned in Ohio, and I respect that. And I respect that these veterans are doing something that they enjoy. All right, so 2 left. We're going to head to Indiana for this one. So Jeff, who's watching, brought me this one. He's talking. Hence, how I know that you like gin. That was that Bourbcast. Right, exactly, because I talk about things like this. This is beautiful bourbon and splendid spirits. So we're not only going to always talk about bourbon on this Bourbcast or Gincast or Vodkacast or whatever it ends up being. We're going to talk about other things too. Time for a new glass. Because alcohol is just so much fun. All right. There's so much to learn about it, and there's so many different flavors and so many different companies that make it. And, you know, I've got a pretty decent collection of booze downstairs, and I know that I will never taste everything I want to taste. Of course, Jeff would have to give me the one that's friggin' hard to open. I mean, there's like a thing on the top. Oh, here it is. Nope. Nope. That's not it. There it is. Nope. There we go. There we go. There we got it. Okay. So this is Hard Truth Distilling Company. Handcrafted in Brown County, Indiana. So, I do have some information on these guys. Founded in 2015, Hard Truth Distilling Company has grown from a small operation in the upper rooms of a pizza restaurant to an 18,000 square foot state-of-the-art distillery. They have cinnamon vodka, they have toasted coconut rum, straight rye, and straight bourbon, and this gin is an award-winning gin. It's now Indiana's largest destination distillery, and it lives on a 325-acre wooded campus in Brown County. All right, so this will be my first time with this. Jeff tells me it's like, I've got to be smarter than the bottle. Thanks, Jeff. He tells me it's like a $20 bottle. It's not a big expense. Bombay Sapphire's more than that, I'll tell you that much. All right. I told Jeff I wanted to wait until he was here. He goes, no, try it. It's gin day, we're trying it. All right, so Hard Truth, handcrafted gin from Brown County, Indiana. I'm going to... Gonna let that cool down a minute, because the first thing I got on the nose, you ever walk into like a creamery or a place where they make ice cream and you get that smell of milk, and it's not necessarily the smell that's pleasant? That's the nose I got off of this. So we're gonna let it cool down a minute, give it a fair shot. I love small companies. I love craft distilleries. So I want to be fair to this. And they've got so much going on, and it's an award-winning gin, and it may taste wonderful, but the nose kind of struck me as less than loving. All right, that should be long enough. Yeah, I don't care for the nose at all. But the gin itself is quite tasty. That's got a really nice flavor to it. Sweet, almost wine-like. I couldn't find much about the gin itself. Let's read the back here. It's subtle and refreshing, perfect on its own, or as a delightful botanical pop in a cocktail. Yeah, there's not much information on the bottle about it. So it says it's redistilled gin. Well, if what I read about gin is true, all gin is redistilled gin. Because if you want to do anything to it, the botanicals are done before the distillation or during the distillation. And then if you want to add sugar to it or other things, that happens post-distillation. So maybe that's why this tastes sweet. Maybe they added a little sugar to it in post-distillation. I don't know. I would have to tour the distillery to probably get that information for you. I will tell you that it's quite good. Definitely has a sugary component to it. It's a different flavor altogether. The juniper's there. It's not strong like Bombay Sapphire or Beefeater or some of the other ones. There's some citrus to it. Definitely some floral aspects to it. I would really be curious to know how they make their gin, because it's not on the website, it's not on the bottle. So, but it's good. Its nose is not doesn't suit it, but the taste of the gin is really good. I'm going to do one more of these because I'm still talking and I'm still upright, and I've only got one more gin to go. So I really want to dial in on this one because it's a gift, and they're a small company, and I want to give them a shot. Okay, make sure I'm not missing anything. Charles back. Yep. Charles, I've created a monster. He was on his way down to Dallas last week and said, "What should I pick up while I'm there?" And I gave him a list. Sorry, Charles. I will tell you, it's better in your mouth than it is in your eye. Wow. Just splashed right up there. That ice cube moved. It's even got a little bit of a chocolate overtone to it. I'm going to put my finger on the ice cube this time. Subtle mint. That's really pretty good. I do like that one. So, yeah. All right. I got one left. One more. And then we'll bring out everybody for their bow. All right. So this one, we're coming home. This is 4 Peel Gin. This is from Watershed Distillery. This is an Ohio company. The Freedom one I wasn't planning on. I just grabbed it on the way up. But let's read a little bit about this. It's a micro distillery in Columbus, Ohio, founded in 2010. The distillery was the second distillery opened in central Ohio after Prohibition. And Watershed brought to market the first legally distilled bourbon whiskey in central Ohio post-Prohibition, in 2012. The distillery offers tours, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, eventually you just got to let it out or you're going to explode. They were able to open a restaurant in 2017 following some action from the State House. Okay, so this was originally called Watershed Gin, and they had to change the name because somebody else has the name Watershed Gin, so they called it 4 Peels. 4 Peel Gin is an American-style gin that is known for its citrus-forward flavor It's made of 8 botanicals, including orange peel, lemon peel, lime peel, grapefruit peel. Those are your 4 peels. And coriander, allspice, cinnamon, and juniper, of course. 4-peel gin is bottled at 88 proof. Wow, yes it is. And this is batch number 134. All right. See, this bottle, they make it obvious where you're supposed to open it. Just saying. Probably gonna change glasses. Nah. That would be all right. Yeah, I'll change glasses. There we go. Nope, that one's been used. Used and abused, with nothing to lose. Okay. It's a song, by the way. I just quoted a song. The Kansas song from the Power album, 1986. All right. So this is the Watershed. It says, when we set out to distill our gin, we wanted it to be complex, aromatic, and totally unique. In other words, the absolute best it could be. Crafting it was our watershed moment. We hope you'll enjoy it at all of yours. Cheers. So there's 2 of these. There's this 4-peel gin, which when I first tried it, I was like, I don't know if I like it. But then I tried the other one, which is, I want to make sure I get the name right, Bourbon Barrel Gin. It's the same juice, only it's aged in bourbon barrels. They're bourbon barrels because they do make a watershed bourbon, which I have not yet tried, and we will someday when I'm in the mood to do it. But I've had their gin. I like their gin. I didn't love it when I first tried it, but then I tried the bourbon barrel gin. That added a layer of complexity to it. Oh my gosh, was that good. I have a bug going, nee, 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 nee. Boo! All right. Okay, so here we go. So, very citrusy. In contrast to everything else, it's actually very minty. It's got a definite mint overtone to it. Got it. I know. We're outside. It is what it is. Definitely very minty compared. The citrus is really just yelling at me. I was going to buy the bourbon barrel, but I couldn't find it in the store, so it may not come out as often as the 4 peels. But the 4 peels is delicious gin. I do like it. And in a taste test with all these different gins, it definitely stands out as unique, and unique in a really, really good way. Make sure I'm not missing anything. I'm not. Good. Okay, so yeah. So if you're looking for some unique gins, I think we've covered the gamut tonight. I'm going to let them all come up and take their bow and remind you all how much I really had to drink tonight. Although these were like, half ounce, maybe 0.75 ounce pours. I wasn't giving myself much. So we started off with Aviation. Put that right on the edge of the frame. And then put 4 peels right next to it. Bombay Sapphire, that can sit back behind because it's so stinking big. And then there's the Bombay Sapphire East, which was very similar to the Bombay Sapphire, but just more mellow, a lower proof, and definitely a different added flavor to it. We tried the Have a Shot of Freedom gin, which is the second time we've tried that, and it's really good. I like it. I got to add some wood on the fire, so it's good that we're wrapping up. Castle and Key was better than I remembered it. I did really actually like this one. I didn't expect to like it, and I did. because the first time I had it, I didn't like it. But then the first time I had Watershed, I didn't like it either. So, okay. Then Hard Truth. Get the label so you can see it. This one was surprisingly tasty, especially. Let's get it over here so you can see my beautiful face. Surprisingly tasty, especially after not really enjoying the nose on it. Not much at all. Can I put this all the way over here? No, let me put it here. And then, from Scotland, Hendrick's Gin, which I liked. And the star of the show tonight, I think, for me, was the Hendrick's Midsummer Solstice. This is fantastic. This was a huge surprise. I had not had this before, and I have 2 of these, but I will be making my way through this bottle, and I will be seeking out the rest of the Hendrick's. It may not be an easy task. It may take the rest of my life, just like finding that last letter on the Blantons. But I'm going to do my best. And this was the star of the show tonight. This was the most fantastic pour of them all. And Bombay Sapphire is still my favorite. I can't see you. So these are all of the gins we tried tonight. And I'm still coherent. Thanks for watching. Reminder, this is Saturday. This is World Gin Day, which is why we're doing all this. Monday, we are going to celebrate, I don't know if it's World Bourbon, no, it can't be. It's American Bourbon Day. It's National Bourbon Day on Monday. So we will see you again on Monday. We're going to get back to the Buffalo Trace products, and we'll be tasting Eagle Rare on Monday, which is arguably my favorite bourbon. It's the one that I seem to just, well, I say that because it's the one that I can get more often, more realistically than George T. Stagg. Stagg, I had a dram of that, and it's incredible. That's probably my favorite bourbon. But Eagle Rare, right underneath it. Of all Buffalo Trace's products, Colonel Taylor, Buffalo Trace, Sazerac, all of them, I think Eagle Rare is my favorite one that I can get. So that'll be on Monday, just a couple days from now. I don't know if we'll be on the porch again. We've got to check the weather forecast. Make sure that the neighbors have finished mowing. And maybe we'll be back out here again. So thank you for watching. I've had a blast. I hope you have too. I'm going to check the Facebook. I'll be over sometime for a tasting of the Hard Truth. I'll save you some. Charles, I'm having some Angel's Envy. Good choice. That's a good choice. That's a good bourbon. I really like that one. Make sure I'm not missing anything, because I tend to miss things. Sometimes I get something different on the computer than I get on the phone. Nope. Everything's good. All right, so sweet. So hey, again, thank you so much for coming along for the ride. I had a blast. This was a lot of fun, and I look forward to Monday when we get back to the Buffalo Trace products and Eagle Rare. So take care, and we'll see you Monday.